Well, hello there. Today I was going to go into this little camera VTX combo I picked up from Banggood. It's the Eachine, very similar to the ones you see on these little ready-to-fly microquads, but this is supposed to be a 200 milliwatt system, so I thought this would be interesting to stick on a plane that you can just pop on when you like, and let's get going with it. So in the box you get the little VTX and camera, the instructions, and this cable extender, which was particularly useful. The cable's quite interesting. I think this is some sort of little mini JST which fits these tiny little one-cell batteries you would have got in the Inductrix, and they just plug in, and you've got this very useful illuminated display telling you your channel and your band, and it does race band as well as all the others, so it's 40 channels, and you've got the normal short press to go through the channels, long press changes over the band. So aside from being able to fit these little 1S Inductrix batteries, if you unplug this and you plug in this one, it then fits these little 600 milliwatt 1Ss you tend to get with the other types of ready to fly microquads. I think this is called a lossy adapter, and it just plugs in like that, and you've got it already. So I'm going to try and take this out and stick it on the plane and see how it goes, really, just to see how it is. So here's what I'm going to put this little camera VTX on, and I'm being very careful because it's not often you'll see an AXN quite as pristine as this one. Showroom new, I like to call it, and not at all feeling like a massive sponge because it's crashed so many times and it's been up a tree for some days. Yeah, just stick it on here somehow and fly it around, see how it goes. So here's how it ended up on the AXN, and what I've just got this bit of sponge here, which is held on with double-sided tape, and I've just stuck the camera on here with a sticky, and I was going to take this off and put a servo cable into the receiver, but because I had a bunch of these 1Ss lying around and they don't weigh anything, I thought I can just connect it there. Then the whole thing can transport as a little camera VTX and power that you can just stick anywhere. So I could stick it on the wing if I wanted to, without having to wire anything. So let's see how it turned out. So off we go for the test flight. And a couple of things struck you immediately. The first is how well it handles the sun there. Straight in looking at the sun, and you can see all the ground details are still happily visible. A few notes here. So this has been recorded in the DVR of my Fat Shark Dominator Freeze, which hasn't got a particularly good DVR. It's noticeably not as sharp as it seemed on the day. Myself and Neil, who was riding passenger, were both really pretty impressed with the sort of the colour and the nice bright image that this camera got, as well as being able to handle all the light details as well as it does. Unfortunately, the DVR doesn't show it as well, so you just have to take my word on it that it's better than it looks, and obviously the resolution's down. So as to the not so good stuff, you'll notice that it's a wide angle camera and there's some distortion around the sides. So as stuff gets closer to the left and right hand side, it tends to warp out very slightly, and you'll see that as I'm moving the ailerons about, just really to have a look how the image did distort when we did that. It reminded me of a little bit of another very small camera I reviewed a while back, although that was much worse. That was almost impossible to fly. This is flyable. It's okay. It's just a little bit weird in the view, but it's not making me have sort of a headache or feel weird. You will notice that it's elongated out the nose of the AXN somewhat, although that's partly down to the mounting position. I could have put it close to the end of the nose. That would have been more sensible to actually see some of the ground rather than just an elastic band for a 10-minute flight. We've got a little few wobbles from the camera. Some of this is to do with the vibration of my more glue than foam plane, the fact I stuck it on with a tiny piece of sticky pad
and it's blowing around in the wind. I think on a decent mount it will react fine. Range wise, we didn't really push it. This is an AXN with one of those V8 FreeSky receivers, which I don't trust as far as I could throw it, which is probably about the range of the receiver. So I think about 500 meters as a max. All seemed fine, not a problem. So I don't know how accurate the 200 milliwatt power rating is, but we didn't seem to have any problems on the day.
So not bad little camera. I was really impressed with the colour and how it handled the bright sunlight. There was just no dark areas underneath like you'd imagine from a sort of cheap CMOS sensor. So despite this being cheap and cheerful and what I can't imagine is a very good camera, the light handling was very good. Fortunately, we had that distortion on the sides of the picture as it sort of went round like that and looked really weird, and it elongated the nose of the AXN unbelievably. But I think if you mount this in the right place, it's flyable enough. I don't think it's that friendly for a big plane, but this is something I designed to move plane to plane as I didn't have them. Obviously you could put it on something small, like one of these little micro quads. If you did that though, don't fly it with other people. If everybody's on 25 milliwatts and you come along with this 200 milliwatt VTX, which you really don't need if you're sort of flying inside around the house and stuff. It's only if you want to fly outside behind trees and further off. Don't use it because it'll wipe their channels out really badly. But for doing on your own stuff or putting on a little plane, yeah, I quite like it. It's cheap and cheerful and it's not bad. But I know a couple of other guys that have got these. One is going on a Hornet wing, and it'd be really interesting to see how that looks, because you won't have the same issue with seeing a massive nose, and I could maybe mount it on a plane better, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, there it is. Later.